trust, and I feel like a lot of times you don't really know if you can trust a politician. But if you watch a lot of his videos, he's been saying the same things for a long time, and I think he really looks at every single bill and makes sure that it is the best thing for the people. And I think when I make decisions, it's the best thing for me, but when he makes decisions, it's what's the best for the people, American people as a whole.
I support Bernie Sanders because I believe the most important things in this election, or any election, are at the moment income equality and the belief that if we keep polluting the planet at the rate that we are with carbon fuels, that we're going to be in serious trouble, and we'll reach a tipping point where we might be the next extinct species on this planet.
Well, Bernie Sanders isn't like the other candidates. He's just, who cares? He doesn't want to be like all the money-sucking politicians out there. I think he really wants to make change in this country.
Bernie Sanders, I'm a nurse, so I see a lot of people in the healthcare industry who either show up so late into an illness because they don't have health insurance, but feel like they can't get medical care, that having universal health care and having an option able to get that health care is just going to save so many lives and improve so many lives. And on top of that, I'm a student as well. So walking out of this with crippling debt to then have to pay off for years, the idea that I can have that burden lessened for my kids and that the next generation won't have to go through what I'm going through, it just makes it a no-brainer.
I think that Bernie has a lot of good ideas as far as modernizing our country. I think a lot of people want to keep us stuck in past ways of thinking that haven't worked well. I think that he's looking at models from like Canada and England and France and Germany and seeing, okay, so these people have socialized medicine, these people have more affordable higher education, and they're doing really, really well in their economies and as a society, and why can't we do that? That's why I support him, because I feel like moving forward right now is very critical, and I think too many people want to keep us stuck in what's comfortable instead of what's best.
Well, first off, I'm a very leftist person. He shares a lot of the ideals that I do, and to be honest with you, the most common sense thing is that every country that supports the leftist movement tends to do a lot better than being a conservative movement. And also he shows my ideals of being an immigrant, and this country is founded in immigration, and I don't think it's very right for somebody to say such bad things like that to my ancestors and my future immigrants that are coming to this country. And it's definitely Bernie all the way.
I support Bernie Sanders because a lot of his policies that he's talking about are very commonly found in Western European democracies, and there's really nothing too crazy about those policies, and it just feels like America is lagging behind the rest of the developed world in so many of these different crucial issues. And you know, I think Bernie Sanders is great because he's spearheading this, and it's absurd to me that we have to say that it's impossible for us to meet those same standards when America used to be the leader of the world. And, you know, it's like I think any other candidate would be selling us short. And even if Bernie Sanders doesn't accomplish everything that he's saying, I think it's a great step in the right direction. And I think taking anything less is as I said before, selling ourselves short.
I support Bernie Sanders for a number of reasons. Much like one of my colleagues, and most of my colleagues will probably say, Bernie's stances on social issues such as pay equity, women's rights, supporting Planned Parenthood, his consistent support of the LGBT community, unlike many of his candidates and all of his Republican candidates. I support Bernie for all of those reasons. I also support all of his economic policies, as he's probably the most experienced economic candidate compared to any of the other options. His stances on income inequality, of course, the top 1%, and how that affects how our country runs, whether that is through big banks and large corporations, taking control of our political system, and that trickles into every other issue. This idea of income inequality and how a small amount of people can control social issues and gun control and immigration. And Bernie is the new wave, and I'm sad it's taken this long for this candidate to come around. But I support him wholeheartedly, and even if he is not elected, he has surely made every other candidate better, and made America better as well.
I see these signs, stop deportation. I see these signs, fight Trump's racism. I see these signs, we need a party of the 99%. So we gotta warm up our blood a little bit. I got a chant. It's a call and response. So I'm gonna say something and you repeat. Here we go. I don't know what you've been told. I don't know what you've been told. Corporate politics are getting old. Corporate politics are getting old.
I support Sanders for a lot of reasons. One of them is particularly because I'm a student. The United States is one of the richest countries in the history of the world. Yet students have to take on crippling debt in order to get a college education. Who's right? The average college graduate of the class of 2015 graduated with $35,000 in debt. More than 40 million Americans share a total of $1.2 trillion in debt, and 58% of that is held by the poorest 25% of Americans. This is about today. This is clearly an urgent crisis, but establishment politicians from both parties are failing to take action. In 2013, Congress passed legislation that doubled the interest rates for federal student loans. Students are facing rising tuition costs, mounting debt, and a lack of good-paying jobs when we graduate. Sanders calls for tuition-free public college at every single 2- and 4-year public college and university, and that's what we need. Say, why should we go after Wall Street? Why should they have to pay? You know, why do you get to freeload off of what Wall Street does? Well, let me tell you something. The 20 wealthiest people in America today own as much wealth as the poorest 152 million. That is insane. I'll put that in another perspective. We talk about the 1%. We talk about the wealthiest 5%. We talk about the wealthiest 0.1%. And we even talk about the wealthiest 0.01%. But I have to say, it is so much worse than that. 0.0000063% of America owns as much wealth as 50% of America. And I'm gonna say it again. 0.0000063% of America owns as much wealth as 50% of America. I'll say it again. I'm just kidding. The Democratic National Committee, which is the leadership body of the Democratic Party, is trying to sabotage the Sanders campaign. It's becoming clearer and clearer that the DNC, the establishment of the Democratic Party, has an organized movement against us, against our political revolution. So what does that mean? That means we have to have an organized movement against them. And that's what Movement for Bernie is. We're not going to stop after this campaign, win or lose. We're going to keep fighting for Sanders' radical platform across the country. We're going to fight against the rule of the billionaire class, and we're going to fight for a new political party of, by, and for the 99%. Next Saturday, a week from today, Movement for Bernie will be having our next meeting at Northeastern University in the Student Center. There are people walking around with flyers advertising this meeting, so please find us, join us, come to the meeting. If you have Movement for Bernie flyers, raise your hand. Look around you, a lot of people with flyers. Join Movement for Bernie in building a grassroots movement for Bernie Sanders and for a political revolution against the billionaire class. Bernie Sanders!
the successes that we had in Seattle, electing an open socialist for the second time. Shama Sawant, a member of Socialist Alternative, who led the fight for 15 to make Seattle the first major city in America with a $15 minimum wage. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have a socialist for president too? I worry though, with this undemocratic voting system we have, we're in the South. If you have brown skin and you're poor, you have to buy a special ID just to participate. If this undemocratic system shows its true colors, if Hillary makes it through the primaries and is the Democratic nominee, I won't be voting for her either. Absolutely not. That flip-flopping, jumping ship corporate politician. Back in the day, she was pro-segregation. She hopped on that bandwagon and said no more segregation. When her husband was in office, she was tough on crime and locked up everybody. Now she wants to do something about mass incarceration. Just a few short years ago, Hillary Clinton said marriage should be between a man and a woman. As socialists, which we all are, because we support the socialists for president, we understand that real change is made in the streets. We understand as socialists, as revolutionaries, that we didn't get the 8-hour day by sitting at home. We had to go on strike. We understand as socialists, as revolutionaries, as activists, as workers in America, that we didn't get the Civil Rights Act until we marched on Washington. And as this is what democracy looks like. As Bernie Sanders says himself, we can't just elect someone into office and expect change. Obama's slogans taught us that we can't elect someone simply for change. Bernie says, and he's right there, he says, we need to build a movement, uniting struggles to fight the exploiters and the oppressors. We need labor unions to unite with Black Lives Matter. Just like Dr. King was doing the day he got shot, when he was fighting for striking workers to raise the minimum wage to $2. Bernie says that we need teachers to march with the fight for 15 workers because those teachers know that unfortunately the majority of their students will be working low-wage service sector jobs when they graduate. Then we need to be organized in our workplaces, in our communities, in our schools. We need to discuss, we need to debate, and we need to go even further and build a party of the 99%. Along with Alon, are members of Socialist Alternative. This is what we fight for. We have newspapers in the back, my boy Gabe right there. If you want to join a political revolution, a movement for Bernie to fight the billionaire class, come talk to me.
I'm seeing we need 15 now. I'm seeing tax the rich. I'm seeing stop the deportation. I'm seeing fight Trump's racism. I'm seeing we need a party of the 99%. And have a real political voice. Come and make sure you get a flyer for Movement for Bernie's meeting next Saturday. And go Bernie. Go!